What's going on, people, and welcome back to a new FPL video. It's going to be a recap of game week 23 that's just gone by, and then obviously game week 24 starts Saturday, so I'm going to go through my team for game week 24 as well. So getting into the recap for game week 23, as you can see, the average was 57 points and I finished with 84. One of my best weeks I've had this season by a long shot. And finally got some rewards that I feel like has been coming, to be honest, with some of the decisions. I feel like I've been a bit unlucky recently, and this was a nice comeback, if you will, in terms of improving on recent weeks. I did get a green arrow last week as well, so I've got 2 consecutive green arrows for the last 2 game weeks, which is lovely. But this is by far one of my best weeks I've had. As you can see, Neto in goal got me 3 points in a 1-1 draw against Nottingham Forest. I was expecting Bournemouth to win that game, if I'm honest, but I'll still take the 3 points. Pedro Porro only picked up 1 for me. I'm considering taking him out at some point, possibly, because now Maddison's back. He's not on as many set pieces as he was, and he needs to return to justify being in the team, really, and he hasn't really done that well since I brought him in. So he's probably going to go at some point for me. I'm not sure when yet, but that is probably going to happen. I only returned 1 in a 2-2 draw against Everton. And Estupinan, another one that I brought in recently, didn't start the first game week I brought him in. He played 10 minutes in this. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Lamptey was playing, but I don't think he's going to have the fitness to just consecutively start games. So I do think he'll rotate. It's not really gone to plan since I've brought him in, so he's another one that I've got my eye on. Brighton winning 4-1 against Palace, but he still only got me 1 point because he only played 10 minutes. Alexander-Arnold only got me 1 as well. Played 57 minutes in a 3-1 away loss to Arsenal. I did think that Liverpool would win that game, but Arsenal definitely deserved to, so only got 1 for Trent in that. Going into the midfield then, one of my best, most consistent players throughout the season, Phil Foden, got me 20, 3-1 away win to Brentford. Obviously he got a hat-trick, so I got 3 bonus points for that. Scored 3 goals, played the whole game as well. Vice captaincy, I put on Palmer this week and he got 8, despite them being on the losing side to Wolves, because he did pick up a goal. So very happy with that from Palmer. McGinn got me 8 as well. He's not been great since I brought him in, but they were 5-0 winners against Sheffield United, and he got a clean sheet, obviously, and he scored a goal as well. Pascal Gross then in that 4-1 win against Palace got me 2 assists, 3 bonus points, 11 points, so very happy with that. Been happy with Gross since I brought him in. Saka got me 9 in that 3-1 win against Liverpool. He obviously scored one of the goals and he got 2 bonus points as well. Dominic Solanke was my captain this last game week and it didn't work. As I said, I thought Bournemouth would be too strong for Forest at home, but it was a 1-1 draw. He wasn't involved in the goal, so just played the 90 minutes. Got 4 for him. Bit disappointed with that, but I'm happy with the overall score. So 18 for Watkins then as my other striker in that 5-0 win against Sheffield. Scored 1, 3 assists and 3 bonus points, so delighted with that. On the bench had Vicario, picked up 1. Gabriel Jesus, who was my first sub, didn't feature at all, so got 0. Ben White got 1. And then my third sub, Kyle Walker, got 2. So I think I got it spot on this last game week. As I said, I do feel like a big haul was coming for me because of the decisions I've been making. I feel like I have been a bit unlucky recently. So 84 total points and the average is 57. I ain't arguing with it at all. So I did have 2 free transfers to use, and I've used both of them for this game week coming. So you'll find out in a second who I brought in. But I have used both my free transfers. So I've gone with Vicario in goal. They're at home to Brighton and I fancy Tottenham to win that. I think it'll be an exciting game and I expect Brighton to score, but I expect Tottenham to win the game. So I don't think he'll get a clean sheet, but I'm expecting a return for a win. So Vicario is my keeper. Trent keeps his place at home to Burnley. Hopefully he starts. Even if he doesn't start, I think it's worth the risk for the upward trend that you would get with him if he does feature, because even if he don't play the whole game, he can definitely return. So I fancy it against Burnley with Trent if he plays enough. So Trent. Kyle Walker, obviously missed out a couple weeks back, played the last game, and I benched him for the last one because I weren't sure if he was going to feature again. But he's back in because I think he is back in the team now, obviously, as well. At home to Everton, I expect City to deal with them. So Walker is in. And then Porro as my third defender. I'm going with a 3 at the back this week. Porro as my third defender at home to Brighton, as I said, along with Vicario. Hopefully he can get me a return. And then into the midfield, Saka remains against West Ham away. Hopefully, I feel like Arsenal will win that game, so hopefully Saka will be involved. He usually is. Gross away to Tottenham. Obviously, I do fancy Tottenham for that, but as I said, I think Brighton could score, and Gross is heavily involved in their goals, so I think he could still get a return. Cole Palmer away to Crystal Palace. I fancy that to probably be a draw that game, but if they do score, Palmer's usually the one to do it, and he's on penalties, so Palmer is in the team still. Captaincy remains on Phil Foden because he just doesn't disappoint for me. So he remains with the captaincy at home to Everton. And then I've gone with 3 up top, and 2 of these in a second that I'll get into have been my transfers I've brought in. So Ollie Watkins I've had for a while, and he remains in the team, and I'm putting the vice captaincy on him this week at home to Manchester United. I feel like Villa will probably beat United. I'm hoping we can get a result, but I think at home Villa will be too strong for us, and I think Watkins could do well. So he has the vice captaincy. And then I took out Solanke finally. He did well for me for a while, but he has dried up recently, and fixtures get quite good again soon, Bournemouth, so he may come back in for me in a few weeks, but for now I felt like it made sense with the fixtures, and these other 2 players I've brought in I'm a bit more confident with in form at the moment. So the first is Cunha from Wolves. I've been watching him for a while, and I might even bring Neto in as well in the future, but as a up top option, Cunha, I'm a big fan of him. I like what he does. I think he's quite exciting to watch. He's usually involved when Wolves do well, so I'm happy to get him in. They're at home to Brentford next game, which I think is the trickiest game of the week to predict, but he's usually involved when they do well. So Cunha is my first transfer in this week, and my other transfer in, Gabriel Jesus, I had for, I don't know, for about a month maybe, but he was either injured, or when he did play, like I think one week I benched him like a couple weeks back when he did really well, so I didn't get the points for him, and then other than that he's been in and out of the team and injured again. So because of the injury worries and inconsistency of minutes, I took him out, and I'm really happy to bring this guy in. I think he's a very good differential if you're brave enough to take him, because their fixtures definitely aren't favourable at the moment, but when his team does well, this guy is the vocal point of it, and everything runs through him, and that is Ivan Toney. They have got a tough fixture run, as I said, Liverpool and City involved in their upcoming games, but first up against Wolves, so I've got Cunha against Toney. I think Toney can cause any team a problem, and he's definitely boosted Brentford since he returned. And Brentford also have Visser to come back, who's at the AFCON. Henry is a long-term injury, obviously, and they still have Mbuemo to come back as well. So they've still got players to return from injury and AFCON. So they're looking good already since Toney returned, and that's not even at full strength yet, because some of the others that are missing are starters as well. So I think Brentford will just continue to get stronger, and I think even though the fixture run don't favour them, they can cause any team a problem on their day and pick up results that people may not expect. And Toney's heavily involved in that. He's on penalties as well. So I'm a massive fan of him. I like what he does, and I'm happy to get him in. So Ivan Toney. And then on the bench this week, I've gone with Neto away to Fulham. McGinn is my first sub against Manchester United. Ben White is the second sub away to West Ham. Estupiñán away to Tottenham as the third sub. So that is it for this week's FPL content, guys. Game week 24. Obviously, I'll be back with a recap and a preview for... I'll probably do it as a 2-in-1 video again for Game Week 25 when Game Week 24 is up and done with. But enjoy the football this week, guys. Let me know what transfers you've made or what chips you've played. And I'll see you soon.